Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Mr. Siege. Now today we're going to do some testing to basically work out which is going to be best in terms of auxiliary skills for my alt account, this KVK. Now I've been toying with two different auxiliary skills. One is the Genghis Khan skill, which obviously reduces the rage requirement for using active skills by 100. I think that's great. Now that's going to work amazing on my John Stephen March, obviously my main, but I'm not sure if it's the best idea on my alt account. Like, do I take the all damage from Thutmose? But the all damage from Thutmose is obviously affected of whether you're in Alliance territory or not. Obviously, ignore the first part of this skill. Now, archer attack and 10% march speed. Obviously, that is not going to take effect. All we get is the 15% more damage outside of Alliance territory. Now, obviously, that may not be the case. It may not occur. We may actually be in territory. Especially the only fight we're going to get this KVK now is in Kingsland, where I would say a significant part of that fighting will take part in territory. So I think we need to do some testing, and we're going to attack level 45 bobs. So let's have a look what the commander's got on at the moment. Now, I'm going to keep the same gear, and I might have to do multiple tests. So we've got Horn and Ring, obviously, which, yes, is very good for increasing rage. And then we have a cost reduction of rage with the active skill being 900, which is 10% quicker to launch some active skills. Now, how much of a difference that makes, I'm not sure, which I'm really interested in. Or is it just better to go gunplane with 15% more all damage, but then again, you have to be out of the territory? Well, obviously, let's just get fighting and find out how quick we can launch these active skills. So we are going to attack the same level barbarian. Because I do want to know how quick we kill the barbarian also, which is obviously where the all damage will come into effect. So we do need to get slightly lucky with the horn and the drum, of course, to see how fast these active skills launch. But if we do an average of 3 tests, just to give us a good idea of when these active skills will actually launch, let's go into the battle log. And that seemed quite slow that time. And in fact, it wasn't bad. Okay, 10 and 12 was when we launched our active skills. That's obviously turn 10 and turn 12. And then the second lot was on 19 and 21, and then 28 and 30. So these are now getting launched every 9 turns or so. Yeah, that would be 9 turns from 21 to 30, which is Gonzalo's active skill. And then next Gonzalo's active skill was 37. So that was actually 7 turns, which is a lot faster. Now let's compare that to another report. In fact, it doesn't need to go back to city necessarily. We just need to find another level 45 barbarian, which ideally will be out of territory. Okay, so it's all the way over here, so you have to bear with me. Hopefully we don't run out of level 45 barbarians in this video. I think probably we'll just do 2 tests with each. And then we actually need to test on an actual player, which will obviously be my main account. So again, we do kind of need to make sure we're out of territory, mainly because we need to find out how fast a barbarian will basically get destroyed. I should move it over here because I don't want to get that lower barbarian caught up in the fire range. So let's go. Another level 45 barbarian. There is one below here, so we can use that one. For the next test, I'd say I'm not going to bother doing it now. I need to move my city close by for the next test, because there's no point changing too many auxiliary skills too many times. That will cost the auxiliary points. You know, it can be quite expensive. Obviously, auxiliaries. Okay, I've got 8,400 because I was messing about a lot earlier. You can only store it to 10,000, but you get 80 writs an hour. I mean, to be fair, there's plenty. I'm not running many marches, so to be honest, I can chop and change quite often. So let's check this report out now. The first active skills were on 10 and 12 before. 10 and 12 again. Okay, that is pretty fast for an engineering march, by the way, guys. Now, believe it or not, I've been testing on John and Stephen on my main account, and I was getting the active skills launching as quick as turn 7 and then turn 9, which is absolutely crazy. They were getting like 4 active skills off within 16 turns. And then we've got 20 and 22, 29 and 31. So that was 9 turns in between that. So in 31 turns, we've got 6 active skills off, and the enemy was destroyed again inside 40 turns. And on this first one, we had 1, 2, 5, 6 within 30 turns. and 37th turn, the enemy was destroyed in terms of your barbarian in this case. So let us go and switch these skills over. Let's take that off Margaret, and we'll give that to Gorgia. Give him the Thutmose one. Obviously, we are going to have to attack outside of territory now. So let's find another barbarian. Obviously, there was one down below, but is there a closer one? There is more down here. So yeah, we can do the test. Let's go. So here we are for the next test. We are outside of Alliance territory, as we needed. The barbarians just moved, so we just have enough time to set up and attack it just at the edge of range, just like before. Now remember, 10 and 12 was kind of the average we were launching active skills, with that 100 rage reduction to launch active skills from Khan's second skill. So how quick will it be now using Thutmose's second skill? Again, we will have fluctuations in when the horn and the drums actually fire off there. So let's go look at the battle report for this one, and we'll be able to see on 11 and 13. So yeah, it was 1 turn quicker for the first active skills though, guys. That's just the first active skills. And then we were getting one sort of every 9 turns from that first one. So I'd expect them around 20. And then we've gone to 22. Okay, so that is increasing the gap to 11 turns for the next active skills. Obviously, you want to be getting these active skills off because Gorgia Marder is going to be launching his active skill every second then from this active skill launch. Obviously, that's why you can see these high numbers every turn. I think he does it for 4 turns or 3 turns. I'm not sure. I should know that, really. And obviously, you've got Cordoba's huge active skill. So then we had 30 and 32, which was quite close, actually. That was 8 turns sooner. So not a massive gap that time. That hasn't actually made a big difference in terms of when the active skills were launched, which I'm surprised about. The second launches were obviously quite a bit slower. Let's just return and have another look. That was 22 and 24. So 2 turns behind at this stage, but then it did bridge the gap. Obviously, then it depends how many times your horn and your drum prop. So that's why we have to do another test. Sorry to this guy if he's about to chain, but we need that level 45 barbarian. So here we go. Attack the barbarian. Again, we've got the 15% all damage. So let's have a look how that is affecting things in terms of the damage dealt on that first skill, particularly by Gonzalo. So the second active skill did 18,800 damage. And in the first report, well, one of the first reports, or the first tests, 12,000 damage. Now, obviously, things around here can affect the damage dealt. The 12,000 is very low on that second one there. Let's go back and look at this second, this first initial one. 13,000 damage dealt, which is really low, actually. Let's check this again now. So this is the very fresh report coming through. Look at this time, 13 and 50, but then 14,000 damage, or 14,000 troops to enemy lost. 13 and 15, that's a lot slower. And then 23 and 25, 33 and 35. So that's a whole 5 turns slower than one of the original ones. But obviously, this is all about the damage. The damage dealt 17% all damage now. So what made that 18,000 damage, or 18,000 severely wounded units, not severely wounded units, slightly wounded units, to the enemy on this turn, and it's 110% range normal damage. Now, this is another thing I've found really interesting whilst doing these tests, because I didn't know that this 50% increased range normal damage due to its strength and firepower, obviously from forbearance, actually should take effect for the active skill, but it does clearly. So every 5 seconds this commander's troop is in combat, its next ranged basic attack or ranged counterattack deals 50% more ranged normal damage. Well, you wouldn't think that actually activates on the active skill, but it clearly does. And this comes from the engineering talent tree, which I will show you now, from any of the engineering commanders, of course, up here. And I was obviously always under the impression that it did increase the active skill damage by 50% for obviously Cordoba and Gorgia Marder, but I didn't know that would take effect. But when you actually read the description, it doesn't sound like it would do. it sounds like it's from basic attacks, not the active skill, unless that is classed as during a basic attack or ranged counter attack. I don't know. It's odd that one is, but that's great news because it 100% means this skill or this talent is worth picking up 100%, but only selected by 80% of equipment. I suppose if you've got a skill damage commander, you know, ranged skill damage commander, that is going to take a lot less effect. It doesn't matter anywhere near as much. Just a note, by the way, guys, it did take on turn 38. So turn 38, the level 45 barbarian was destroyed. Now that was the second time, but the first time it was turn 37. So very similar to before, which I'm surprised about. I thought it would be a lot slower with damage boost, to be honest with you, when actually attacking. So now the real test is, how will this perform when actually attacking a real player? Because obviously you're not attacking, or you are attacking barbarians in Rise of Kingdoms, but the main thing is, how is it going to perform in Kingsland, which is going to perform better? So let us go and move next to my main, which I should have been like already, to be honest with you. And I'm going to send out just a basic march on my main, nothing too strong. So that's 316k troops here, out of territory, of course, and send my march out over here, set up a tower. Now I am going to remain completely still because in fact rage generates faster when you're receiving basic attack in melee range. So if this troop got close, I'll be receiving more rage as well, which can obviously have an effect on the result. So just make sure I collect all the chests before I leave alliance because they're going to help. So both left alliance. We've got the all damage boost on now. I'm going to do the test for 1 minute actually and see which is causing the most damage over that period of time. Let me just set up my stopwatch. Okay, let's go. As soon as I click yes, I'm going to click start on the watch. Let's go. So we're expecting a lower rage gain on this one. Well, not lower rage gain. The rage gain should remain about the same. Obviously, we have got horn and drum, so we'll have some effect on that. But we're launching active skills slower, but doing 15% more damage. And the main thing is, in 1 minute worth of combat, which is going to cause me to get, well, no, cause the enemy to get more severely wounded and give me more kills. So I want more kill points in the shorter amount of time as possible. I've only got Kingsland to do it in, guys, so it needs to be done now. Right, 1 minute is up. So let's refresh the troops. So 5,000 to 38,000. Why did I send out T5? I don't know, because that is going to be expensive. So let's check the battle log just again, just to check the active skills. So 11 and 13, 21, 23. That was a bit faster. And 31, 33. It's not actually too bad. It's not doing a bad job, obviously, because of the horn and the drum. I mean, NJ marches are usually so slow at producing rage. So horn and drum are pretty OP for a ranged march, really. Now, let us do that test again. Exactly the same, because I've got to do sort of 2 tests to even it out a little bit. Right, send my marches back out. And hopefully I don't go over MG points here. I shouldn't do, because I've not been competing in MG at all. Now let's get on with the second test. When I click yes, going to start stopwatch and go. That takes like 2 seconds to start firing, by the way, guys. That makes a big difference. 2 seconds is like 2 basic attacks. So hopefully we can get 2 pretty similar reports here to get a decent average of these results with 15% all damage. Now again, we do have to be outside of Alliance territory to take effect with this skill, which may not be the case in Kingsland. So it may not even work the way I want it to. Right, ready to go back to the city now. Done. Got to make sure I send back to the right cities, because I did this once, sent it to the wrong city and ended up attacking my own city and lost about 30k troops. So, okay, really similar results. You know, only 500 severely wounded between them, which is perfect. Gives us a great idea. So 13 and 15, I think that's the same as last time. 23, 25, and 35, 37, which was even longer for the active skills there. 44, 46 as well, which we didn't go that far before. Now it's time to obviously change the auxiliary skill on my Guardian Order. And we will replace again with Genghis Khan's skill. Now, guys, I actually put gold heads into Genghis Khan in 2025 to be able to test this on my ult, which is mad. I think I used about 80 gold heads to get Genghis Khan to like 4-5 because I ran out of resets, by the way. So let's see how the rage reduction performs in this test. Ready, steady, go. I'm honestly not sure what to expect. I kind of want it to be better, especially now I've actually put in 80 gold heads into Genghis Khan in 2025, which is madness. But yeah, this outperforms the 15% all damage when outside of Alliance territory. Then obviously it's a no-brainer you go for this because there's a chance you're going to be fighting in territory too. But you may run multiple siege marches or multiple marches where you'd kind of use the Thutmose skill anyway, because it is one of the better second skills unless you've got multiple leadership commanders available. So 10 seconds left on this one. And, you know, maybe the first test will completely give it away straight away. I don't know. Ready, steady, go. From looking at it now, it's kind of impossible to say. But let's go and check the battle report. Oh, okay. 35,000 guys. It's pretty close. Yeah, 3,000 kills less. But let's look at it here. I mean, that's only about 8% different, but 8% is 8%. So, yeah, kill points, 708,000, and kill points here, 760,000, you know, and that's over a minute. So, in 10 minutes, that could be another 500,000 kill points, potentially. I know it's not crazy amounts, but we probably do need to test without having that skill on at all. Either way, let's go for a second test. Okay, let's go again now. We're already... Yeah, kind of a surprise, and I was expecting better and a larger amount of active skills occurring in a shorter period of time. Is that it will go hand in hand with another skill that I mentioned in a previous video, and actually that does come from another leadership commander, but not only a leadership commander, it's actually an epic leadership commander, Osman. So his third skill here will actually let me do another 400 additional damage factor every active skill cycle. So obviously the more active skill cycles you're doing, the more damage factor you're going to be doing from that auxiliary skill. So we've got another couple of seconds here and we'll have to pull out. There we go. So this time it gave us a result of 5,000 to 36,000, which is slightly better. 25,000 kill points extra. It does bridge the gap. Either way, the results are still pretty consistent. Now, one more test that is worth doing, I think, would be actually removing the horn and the drum, just to see how much of an effect these have on the results. So we'll do one more test. I'm not going to do two more because hospital is going to be getting expensive already. Not that we've had any fighting yet this KVK, because the other camp couldn't be bothered to turn up, which is a massive problem in Rise of Kingdoms in my opinion. No one actually wants to fight. Well, it's very rare you actually get a fight. It seems like I have struggled in many, many KVKs now, and it's highly annoying. I mean, come on, even if it's like underdogs, give it a go. It does absolutely no harm giving it a try. So again, this is without the horn or the drum. So rage gain will be particularly slow, even though we've got the rage reduction for active skills. I mean, you can see how slow it is already. It takes forever. Now, I don't know what implications that will have in terms of the basic attack number of obviously when the active skill goes off. But obviously, this is still with a rage reduction of the active skills. Oh, Altar of Darkness will be open for contesting in 10 minutes, or contending in 10 minutes even. Obviously, it's a free altar, so that doesn't really matter. So 5 seconds left is considerably noticeable. We haven't done as much damage. He's nearly at half health here. But obviously, let's check out the report to see the difference. Okay, 5,000, 29,000. Again, not a massive amount of difference, because at the end of the day, that is 2 legendary accessories that cost a ton of materials. But in the long run, they're going to be much, much better, because obviously I'm going to be using more auxiliary skills, which occurs more often with launching active skills. So that's going to be much, much better. And let's look at the battle log. So 13 and 15 was still the active skills on the first launch. 25 and 27, that is much more. And then further down, 37 and 39. I'd say it's still making a considerable amount of difference. And the result does show that. I mean, that's a good 15% decrease in the amount of severely wounded units caused to the enemy. And remember, a drum will also boost other marches' rage too. To conclude the video, I think the all damage outer territory is the better option if you're guaranteed to be fighting outer territory. Otherwise, the 100 less rage reduction is a fantastic option. And you know what? I wasn't going to do another test, but let's go and do it anyway. Let's just completely remove that skill. Then we can truly see what a difference that skill makes. Maybe it's not as much as I first thought. I mean, Genghis Khan, yeah, not the best legendary commander, as you know. Right, come on, guys. One last test. I've already overdone it, and hoping my hospital isn't full. I haven't even checked on main. We should be okay. Maybe I'll have a quick check now on my phone. But yeah, we're all good. We've only got 570,000 in the hospital. I did do some more tests before. In fact, I did do a 3v3 with a guy and beat him with my siege marches on my main, which is pretty crazy. Kind of unexpected, because he has the meta commanders, the meta field commanders, guys. Yeah, it wasn't a 3v3 versus siege. So almost 40 seconds, 20 seconds to go. Not even in the orange zone yet. We've just gone into it now. 15 seconds remaining on this test. And get ready to pull away. Okay. Moment of truth. How much is Khan's skill affecting my march? A bit. Probably about 10%. Well, actually 10% is what you'd presume, because your active skills are launching 10% quicker. So overall, I think I'm pretty happy with those results. Not a great difference to the all damage buffs, at 15% all damage outer territory. Yeah, I'm rather happy. Tell me what you guys think. And, you know, maybe that has been a little bit helpful to you too, if you run a siege march. In fact, any march, maybe you'd put it on your cavalry march, because Khan is a cavalry commander, and you do gain some extra skill, I do believe. Or is that it? Is that the only bit? Yeah, so cavalry march speed bonus and march speed reductions. So for me, I think it's an option, even if you're a cavalry player. And let's face it, most people in Season of Conquest aren't going to be using Khan on the field nowadays. So guys, this is Mr. Siege. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.